You're listening to the Bear in Mind podcast, episode 120.
A podcast that breaks it down so you can break the cycle for good. Now, your host, Tara Rama, but you can call her T.
We're back at a love episode, and sometimes I feel like the episodes sneak up on me, the love episode. I'm like, oh, I need to have a love topic. And then other times I feel like it drags all of a sudden to the 10th episode where it's about love. And we're doing one today on love the one you're with. And so I have a story about loving the one you're with. And before I get to that story, which is going to apply to, I think, most situations that we find ourselves in where we're not loving the person or the situation that we're in, I want to clarify something on that expression, love the one you're with, because it has an extra meaning that some people attach to as meaning you're settling. And I'm going to redefine it, although I'm not really redefining it. What settling actually means is that you're staying in a relationship you don't want to be, as if it's against your will. And that's a big difference because you're staying in a relationship that you do not want to be in. And that is settling. And it doesn't mean that you don't stay even when you don't want to be in a relationship. And I'm going to clarify that in a bit. But that is what I mean by settling, is that you don't want to be in that relationship. And you've decided that there's some reason that you're not owning for staying. And so you can decide that you don't want to be in a relationship. Let's say you're married and you decide, okay, I don't want to be in this relationship. And you can decide that and decide, okay, I'm going to exit the romantic relationship in 5 years' time. But you're owning the reason why you're staying for 5 years. So you're not settling for 5 years. You're deciding I'm staying now, even though I want to exit the relationship in 5 years. And the reason that I'm staying for those 5 years, you own those reasons. It could be for the kids, it could be financial reasons. Whatever those reasons are, you own it, and as if it's your own choice. That's what I mean by owning it. It's your choice to decide to stay for 5 years, and that is not settling. Settling is when you're wanting to, and as if there's some external force preventing you from exiting, and you're staying, and you're not owning that choice that you have made. And so before I get back into this story that I have to share with you about loving the person or the situation that you're in, loving the person that you're with, is that loving someone and staying with a person or staying in a situation is not tied to the emotion of love. So we think love means you stay or love means you leave. And you could do both. You can stay and love the person, and you can leave and love the person. So the action is not tied to the emotion. And I talk more about this in depth in episode 100, Love the Emotion. And I highly recommend you go check that out, because oftentimes we do that. We attach action to the emotion. And we're often by society taught that. That is not the case. You can love and stay and love and leave. Okay, so now we've got back to the story part of it. About 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, there was a situation where I dreaded in one of my social groups, and it was being around two people. And whenever I would go to these events, I would have this dread, and I wasn't very conscious of it. But then when it did happen, that I was kind of quote unquote stuck with these two people, like stuck talking to them, or if we had arranged seating or ended up at the same table, I would dread it. And so I was at the point where, how can I control the situation so I don't end up sitting next to this person? And yes, by the way, I am that person. I try to then go and control. Today, I don't do that. But not so long ago, I was kind of the person like, okay, where do I sit? I hope I don't sit next to that person. I want to sit next to a fun person, and realizing that maybe I'm not actually the fun person. So the story is about a couple months ago, I ended up sitting next to the two people that I dreaded. This is 5 years ago, even longer than that, where I kept dreading them. And I want to say you can apply this to any situation. Love the person you're with. You're in a marriage you don't want to be married to. Loving that person. Loving your situation. If you stay at home with kids, loving that situation. If you work full time and you have kids, loving that situation. If you have no kids, that situation, no partner, that situation, or no job. So any of those kind of situations that you find yourself in, what I want to offer to you is that there is a way that you can love that situation, and loving that situation that you're in is for your benefit. And even though I want to say it's for you, when you're trying to improve a situation, improve something in your life, loving the current situation you're in will get you to that other place. So I'm not saying that you need to love your situation in order to get somewhere else, like the grass is greener on the other side. What I'm saying is when you learn to love the situation that you're in, it is easier to get to that other situation that maybe you prefer to be in, knowing that it isn't going to be better over there, that the grass isn't greener over the side, but all along that journey, you get to experience love. So it's for your benefit. And that kind of energy, that love energy, that sounds a little cheesy, but that love energy of getting you to that other place, whatever it is you want, wherever you want to go, a new job, new husband, whatever, that journey can be done with love by loving the situation that you currently are in. So I'm at this big dinner and I show up late. And the only spot available is next to, you guessed it, the two people that in the past I have dreaded spending long amounts of time at the social events. And I even found myself thinking that, like, oh no, this is some kind of punishment for being late. And I said, wait a minute. I can love this situation and I can own the situation. And this is kind of what happened in my mind in the beginning of the evening. So it's recognizing that this is actually my choice to love the situation and that I can also not be stuck in the situation. Now, you might say, well, I'm late. And if I didn't want to be in the situation sitting next to two people I didn't want to talk to, then I could move. And there were no other places for me to move. And it's still my choice to stay there. I could have asked somebody to move and say, oh, I would like to sit over here. Now, it may sound a little weird or like a nuance, like, well, why would you do that? You would embarrass yourself. Right. I didn't do that, but that was my choice. I didn't ask to sit somewhere else, knowing that maybe I didn't want people to look at me like I'm strange, or I didn't want to inconvenience the people who had already were seated and already had started the first meal that comes before your main meal, I'm losing my words today. And so, yeah, I made that choice, but that was still on me. I still own that choice that I didn't ask to move. So I didn't go into it saying, oh, this is it. I'm settling here. No, I still had choices. It's just that I didn't want to exercise that choice of asking other people to move. And so that's the thing, is to know all of your options and knowing that those are the options that you don't want to do. If you're looking for a job, if you want to relate it to looking for a job, is that you don't have a job, but you could have a job. You could go down to the local fast food chain, and I guarantee you there is probably somebody looking to fill a post there. So, and it's the option that you have decided not to take. You want to continue to look for the job that you really want. And that is that subtle difference. So I decided, okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to make it fun. I can own this and I can make it fun because I decide to have fun. It doesn't matter who I sit next to. It doesn't even matter what the cuisine is. I can sit here and have fun. And I want to have fun. I'm here at the social event to see everybody and to celebrate. We're celebrating something. To celebrate it and have fun and have a good time. I didn't want to be sitting there like, oh, I got stuck next to these two people and the conversation is going to be totally awful. And here's what I did. I decided to love my situation, that I'm here sitting next to these two people and it is going to be the best time. and I am going to focus on loving them. Now, this is not something that I had 5 years ago. I did a lot of work. I did a lot of work with my life coach on getting to this point and understanding my agency and ownership in the situation. So I decided to like them more. I listened to them. I listened to their stories. I asked questions about their stories. And something happened along the way. And these are people I would say hardly ask questions of me. I was the one that's always asking questions of them. And that's kind of why I didn't really want to sit next to them. Like, oh, it's kind of it's always about them. That used to be my thought about these people. And then they started asking questions about my life. And it wasn't that I sat there and was like asking questions about them. It's that I was genuinely interested in what they had to say. I liked what they had to say. I looked at everything they said as, oh my God, that's so fun. That's positive, that they're amazing people. And then in return, they ask questions about me. And when you can own that situation and show up exactly how you want to and love that situation, you will see the results of that. And that's not why you do it, but I will tell you that you will see the results. And something kind of interesting happened. That evening after that dinner, she sent me a text saying, I had so much fun. It was just as simple as that. And I had felt it too. I showed up and I decided I'm going to have fun. And she sent me that message. And I thought, wow, that is so nice. And I'm telling you, the next social event that we have, the next celebration our group is going to have, I'm looking forward to sitting next to them. And that changes everything from thinking about how many years I would go to these things and dread and think, okay, and control, where do I sit? Now I can go and be free. And I don't care who I sit next to. I don't care what the cuisine is. It doesn't matter because I can show up in the situation and love the situation that I'm in. And even if it doesn't feel like it right in the moment, when you're ready and you can look at the situation and find maybe one thing to like about it, even finding on that one thing and holding on to that will set a different course for you. That's all I have for you this week. I'll check back with you next.
Thanks for listening. Listen for a new episode next Tuesday by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Bye for now.